Hi everybody, if you need to revise some chemistry paper 2 using resources topic, then stick around. I've got some exam questions on water and potable water. Let's just jump in with this. So the boiling point of a 250 gram sample of water was 100.6 degrees Celsius. The boiling point of pure water is 100 degrees Celsius. So the difference here of 0.6 degrees Celsius. And it tells us that every 1% of impurity in that water increases the boiling point by 0.12 degrees Celsius. So we need to work out the mass of the impurity in that water. So how much of that 250 gram sample of water is made up by the impurity? So we need to first of all work out how much of a percentage of impurity the water has increased by. So every 1% is 0.12, but we've gone up by 0.6. We need to work out how many of these are in 0.6. So we're going to do 0.6 divided by 0.12. That gives us 5. So we have a 5% impurity in this water that's caused it to increase. So we need to work out what 5% is of 250 grams. That will tell us the mass of the impurity. So to do that, we are going to do 0.05, which is 5 divided by 100, and times that by 250. That gives us 12.5. So the mass of the impurity is 12.5 grams. That's caused the increase in the boiling point. Question 3.4. Explain how distillation is used to obtain potable water from salty water. So to get potable water from salty water, we need to effectively remove that salty part of it. And to do this, we need to heat that water so that the water part evaporates. And then we are going to collect that water vapor and cool it down, and then it will condense to form the potable liquid part, and the salty part will be left behind because the salty part won't evaporate, just the pure water will, or just the potable water will. So step 1 would be to heat the water to boiling point. That would be so that the water evaporates, and then we're going to collect that evaporated water, that water vapor, and cool it down. So collect and cool down the water vapor, and then the water vapor will condense into liquid potable water. The water vapor will condense into liquid potable water. And then this question at the end, obtaining potable water from salty water is more expensive than obtaining it from groundwater. We have to explain why this is. We have to refer to processes. So the processes that are used to obtain it from salty water, we've just talked about, that is distillation. Distillation requires more energy because we are using heat energy to boil it, and energy is always going to be expensive because it requires fuel. The processes used to obtain water from groundwater are less expensive because they're less energy intense, because they involve filtering and sterilizing. So they're still going to be costing something for the equipment, but it's not going to be as expensive because no fuel is involved. So distillation requires energy to heat the water, which is expensive. And then groundwater only requires filtering and sterilizing, which is less expensive. Okay, hope that helps.